we ready? I think that's how we should start it off always. You know, Spotify says we need a jingle. So you guys, we're going to run a poll, actually. We looked at a bunch of tips that Spotify gives you for running a successful podcast. I don't know anything about podcasts. Dylan's more of the podcasty type, but it says, it's like interact with your audience. So we're going to interact, guys. I'm going to run a poll. Do you guys want a jingle to start off? It says have a good intro and outro.
Will we get sued if you just sing Creed to them every time you start?
I didn't. I cut it out. I don't. That was the Lost episode.
That was the second Lost episode.
The second Lost episode. People don't even know there was 2 episodes recorded before this that are straight fever dream. That's the only thing I can describe it as.
Well, we took the ADHD part to like the max. That's what we just went hardcore. Like couldn't even finish an idea before we went to a new one. And
Dylan's the put together one. He was just we would go off the wall in conversations and he'd be like, "Well, we're like 47 minutes in, brother."
Should probably wrap it up. I think the first one was kind of short because we had the intern here, but then the second one was like, I think we were pushing over an hour before we actually wrapped it up.
You know, I used to talk so much shit about because I've done a podcast for someone else. It was like a barbecue thing. And they had a conversation before they did the intro, and I was like, that's so dumb. Just do the intro first. And now I'm just like, oh, well, you really have a conversation before you do the intro. It's all about learning, and that's what we like to do in Mike and Dylan Hate Drama MADHD. Welcome back for the second episode, guys. We do need a sound thing because like a bunch of people clapping would be cool right now.
Oh yeah, we have an audience out here clapping for us.
Shot in front of a live studio audience. I mean, it made the Will Smith, why don't he want me, man? And you hear that one lady crying. That's what like really, really sells it. It is so sad. Just the life after Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I mean, he had like a really good run. Honestly, up until like, 2015, I have no perception of time. Whenever the stuff with Jada started like really coming out and she was like spending time with their son's friend.
Yeah, no, I didn't keep up with any of the drama, but I did watch something recent. Or actually, no, I guess it wasn't recently. I guess it was before the Chris Rock incident, but it was talking about like the first on the call sheet, which is like talking about black actors and like has like Denzel, Morgan Freeman, all those guys, and Will Smith was on there. I was like, oh man, he's making a comeback, but no, it was before all that stuff.
Aw, sad. I mean, he is like a good actor, I think.
Oh, he's great.
Because I don't really remember after like the stuff after I Am Legend, because he started doing like some weird stuff where he was like trying to get his son real famous. Which I'm just saying, man. You look. What's his son's name? Jaden.
Yeah.
No slight to Jaden, bro. If you are a rich child, you ain't got to do nothing. Like you don't have to do anything. You don't have to follow in your dad's footsteps. You ain't got to do. You could just be rich. I ain't even have a dad. I ain't even had a dad. A rich dad? Shit. I would do nothing. I would be one of those, like, rich kids.
Trust fund kids.
Yeah, that people see on, or I, like, make a statement about something, and everybody be like, bro, that dude is so out of touch. I'll be like, well, if eggs are $9 a carton, why don't you just buy more eggs? Like, you could still go buy them. It's $9. And then everybody's like, bro, like, we're fucking hurting out here. Like, what are you doing, man? And I'm just like, just buy eggs, bro. It's $9.
Let them eat cake.
Right, yeah. Oh, man, remember when they did that at the Met Gala? I did a video on that when the let them eat cake. Listen.
When you go to modern, like, events and, like, things going on and, like, the normal zeitgeist that people keep up with, I'm out of the
Bro, I'm so knowledgeable about it just because I doom scroll. And I do, like, late at night, I'll doom scroll, play Magic the Gathering while I doom scroll. Because it takes time to like load into a game or like load into a lobby or whatever.
See, it's
like,
just weird because like,
when I'm doing a draft,
my doom scroll is like I watched a guy make a guitar earlier. Like
I used to do that. I think that's the transition of everybody who has watched social media. Like 2015 we were watching Indian guys build pools, and now we're just doom scrolling the internet. But look, I mean, this is essentially a comedy podcast. I about said a comedy podcast. I really did. But this is a comedy podcast where we talk about drama. I look at myself like a comedian, okay? I understand other comedians, they're more comedian than me. I get it, all right? I ain't got to be like your cup of tea. I ain't got to be your favorite. The jokes I say ain't even got to be funny, okay? I do view myself as a comedian. I love funny things too, but I find funny things in like not funny situations. Like if someone's trying to be funny, it's harder for me to like it.
Yeah.
Like I showed you the video. There's been a video for the past 3 days that I swear to God I was like depressed before it, and then I've not been depressed since. And it's just like Billie Eilish. She's sitting in an audience and she has everybody be quiet because she's gonna start like this song. So everybody's like super silent, and you hear one little poot. Bro, and I'm telling you, the night I heard that, I literally almost died. I stood up and I was like so lightheaded, and I could feel my heart beating in my back from a fart joke. Bro, I'm a simple man. Okay, it doesn't take anything. It doesn't take anything to entertain me, at all.
Yeah, I personally.
Dylan is pop-all, man. He don't know anything about. I guarantee you, until I showed him the poot video.
Yes, you did.
Until I said poot, he didn't know what video I was talking about because he don't know who Billie Eilish is.
I do know who Billie Eilish is.
Oh, you do? Oh my goodness.
Like, yeah, I guess that's one of the things too. Is like I'm not modern music either, but like I know her. She like I have a very high respect level for people that like write and produce and like make their own stuff. I do not have a high respect level for people that are like made into.
I would like to say right now, we don't know if Billie Eilish does or does not write her own things. So everything is comedic and allegedly. All right, allegedly.
No, like her and her brother originally wrote like their first album in like his bedroom, like produced the album.
Bro's he's a super genius on Billie and knows everything about her. Okay,
I don't know a bunch about her, but I do know that.
So what was she like as a child? Did she show aspirations to being an artist?
Well, it's like Post Malone. Like I mean, those types of things. Like I dig into because like
I love Post Malone. Post Malone is just he is.
Does anybody know him and could get him on the podcast? Because that'd be super.
Bro,
funny.
that'd be so dope. Like, I can't pay you nothing. I could pay you in friendship. Like, you want to get paid in gum? It's like tree services, man. Like tree service, they don't pay people with money; they pay people with heroin. And I think that's beautiful because that's going like back to the bartering days. That is what society was supposed to be. We're not supposed to be living in houses and paying mortgages and car payments and stuff like that. It was supposed to be like communities coming together and providing the goods that they made in service for other goods. And that's what society was supposed to be, and we ruined it, okay?
And that's hilarious that you think heroin is the bartering chip that makes the world go around.
That is. I've known several.
Helps roofs get put on. And
listen, there's someone that works for a tree service that's listening to this, and they're just like, I know people that absolutely, they get paid with heroin. Like, that is, I mean, there was one from my hometown. I live in Lexington. I'm from High Point, Archdale area. I threw up quotation marks for people who don't watch the video, but there was like a family tree service down there. I'm clearing my throat a lot. Hope that's gonna be okay for you guys. You guys just like let us know, man. Like when you do your reviews or comment down, tell us what you thought about the podcast. I don't know. Spotify says do a call to action, just like it says do an intro. I do want to do an intro though, but there was like a lot of family style tree services. I wouldn't say family style. It was just more like
they put their name on the truck.
Right. A guy had a truck and he was like, I could start a tree service with this. And they did a lot of them when I worked for one.
And then you got paid in heroin for that? Or
No, I never got the heroin. I did a lot of drugs in my youth. Never got the heroin. I never did like the big three. And that was crack, meth, and heroin. Because I knew like if I did that, it would be ball game.
Yeah, you'd just be in it.
Yeah, I'd be just like a homeless guy just like shuffling down the street. Be like, oh, when I grew up, I wanted to be a comedian. But I could have done it too. I believe I could have done it.
And all those TikToks and those YouTubes people are doing.
Oh yeah, I could have done all those every day, but I just don't trust the government. That's all what they all do. It's just like I don't trust the government. Which, hey, look, no slight at any homeless person that does drugs, okay? Because I was homeless from 16 to 19 years old. Okay, it is much more pleasant being homeless high than it is being homeless sober.
I could imagine. I couldn't imagine trying to pull that off sober, but
it's rough, man. Sleeping in a tent, like a lot of people too.
It's just like a really, really long hippie festival with no music.
Kinda. When I was 16, it was more sad because I'd have to go to school too.
Oh shit!
People were like, "Bro, you smell like a tent." I'm like, "That's crazy." Like, I smell like a tent. What's funny is when I was growing up. And I say funny, but people are going to be like, shut the fuck up. I turned out all right, okay? Look, nothing's sad. We all take it with positivity, okay? I turned everything around. People will be like, you see those memes where people are like, what would you what would you tell if you could walk your younger self home from school, what would you tell him? I would tell younger me, he got everything right. Like he's on the money. Like he is on the right track. Because not for an instance did I ever doubt throughout my whole life. It didn't matter when I was a kid or when I was, 16, 17 years old sleeping in town. I was like, someday I'm gonna fucking be somebody. All right. Good thing it wasn't like, something bad.
Yeah,
like,
you didn't end up on the news.
Right, yeah. Like, it was like 16 casualties. Like, I'm really glad for that. But back when I was a kid, and I used to put this in back when I was doing stand up, I used to put it in a joke. I don't fucking remember what type of how I had structured the joke, but I used to tell teachers, man. I used to tell teachers like how much we loved camping because my stepdad, he was an Eagle Scout, all right, but also loved cocaine and crack. And I don't know if you know this, but it was real hard to like keep a household when you like cocaine and crack. All right, it's very expensive. That's one of the more expensive drugs, probably the most. Yeah, it's definitely the most expensive, especially during that time period. So we would, be homeless. We'd be fucking sleeping in a tent. And I'd tell them about like these fucking camping stories. And they'd be like, how long have y'all been camping for? I'm like 3 months, man. It's been great. I'll go home, and then I'll like build like a twig fire, and sometimes he'll let me light it. One time I came to school. This was in kindergarten. I came to school. He was out there chopping firewood and left the machete in my back pocket, or in my back pocket, in my book bag.
Nice.
And then I had to explain that. And if I was a principal and there was a kindergartner with a machete in their backpack, especially back then. Now I'd be like, well, fucking lock them up. But back then, I'd be like, oh, what's going on, bud? Why'd you have this? And I was very unassuming too. I was a little tiny. I know people like see me now. They're like, whoa, you're so fat, Mike. But I was a little tiny kindergartner. The principal was like on my ass. Like, why are you bringing machetes to school, huh? What's going through your mind? I was like, I don't even know what a machete is, bud. I'm just here because y'all give us food at like 12 o'clock, and then we get to take a nap.
This is what my stepdad killed the squirrel with last
Right,
night.
but right, there were so many things too, because when you live in a household like that, like I said, we were constantly switching houses. I told you how many high schools, I went to 3 different elementary schools and 2 different middle schools. So altogether, I went to like 9 or 10 schools. Bro, there's times I went like the machete in the backpack. I went one time with just a regular cigar in my front pocket, and then not like a month later, weed in my front pocket. But these were both in middle school, and I didn't even do those during that time. I was a decently good kid during that time. I was still like, following the path of, I'm not ever going to be like them guys. Fucking dare lying. I'm gonna live up to your standards, brother. And then after a while, I was like, this shit sucks, man. And your friend's like,
so what's that like?
You want a beer to make it better? You want to smoke this weed to make it better? And I'm like, well, will it make it better? I want to make it so it'll make it way better. And then you fucking do it, and you're like, fuck. And then you get into the harder stuff. Look, this is more of an ADHD podcast. I like this.
It is very.
Today we got 2 stories. I just interrupted Dylan before he could talk, and I apologize.
Yeah, I was just saying it's wild because you did go down those paths and all that, but like you never did pick up alcohol, which is like the American standard. Like
I drank it a little bit. The thing about alcohol is also too, like me and Dylan, we have this thing. We don't do, like I said, for people who are listening that don't know who I am, I do content creation, and the sponsorships we don't do alcohol or gambling or like dick pills,
things that people could ruin their lives.
Right, like ruin their lives with. And I don't give a fuck if you do all that stuff, but it's so funny when I'm like, I fucking did drugs like most of my life, and then people are like, well, you don't drink. I just never liked alcohol.
Yeah, well, it's literally one of the worst ones, and like can wreck your world worse because you.
But I drink it. I don't understand. Tastes like shit, and people are like, well, you get used to it. Oh, what? No, I don't want to get used to something. If something is an acquired taste, I'm just not going to acquire it. Like olives, I'll just never love olives.
Coffee.
I have a respect for them. Coffee, you saw how I drink my coffee.
Yeah, you drink a milkshake.
I drink a milkshake. I drink coffee in a way that it tastes the least like coffee.
Yeah.
But alcohol too, it tastes nasty. And then when you drink it, you got like 30 minutes where it's like, oh man, I see how people could like this. And then it's just all downhill. It's like, oh, I feel sick and I'm angry and I'm happy and I'm sad and all these emotions are coming up and I don't know what the fuck to do. And then you pass out and then you wake up the next day and you feel like shit.
Yeah, I think I invited you to that poker night that one time and you drank probably 4 or 5 and you hadn't drank any. And
it was just beers too. Yeah, I was wrecked. I was 4 or 5 beers. And once again, people, they have eyeballs. They can see how big I am. If you're just listening and not watching the video, I'm a large fella. All right. I'm a large fella. I cannot. Also, though, I'm not one of those people that like get angry when I just get really friendly, and I'm already friendly. So it's pretty gay. Like people will be like, is this guy gay? And it's like, yeah, no one can be this nice. Just meet somebody, all your friends. I can't remember a single one of their names. Guarantee you I was like hugging them and just being like, this guy right here's, man, fucking God was on his shit when he made you, brother. Like I just get so happy.
Yeah, that's how it went down.
Dylan gets really jolly too. He's like a very jolly person. You catch him at the right time. I came over one time, and people, this is me and Dylan are buds. How often do we argue a lot? Like in our arguments, we'll get very heated. That is not the definition. That's not what a friendship is like, two guys, they just always get along. It's two guys who are able to have differences, and then when those differences come up, they're able to get past that. Because I'm telling you, man, like we won't leave the argument until like we've came to like a resolution. Like we won't leave each other angry. The more I explain this, the gayer it gets. But like, it's like, oh, they are fucking, brother.
Chuck and Larry. Chuck and Larry.
Oh yeah, but he's my bro, man. He's my dude, bro. But we were arguing one day, and then I went to get something. You were I don't remember what was going on that day. I can't fucking barely remember what I had for dinner last night. But like I come back and he's like, Dylan's like feeling it, and he's just like, yeah, man. And you sang to me the other night. I don't know if you were drinking though.
No, I wasn't.
Bro, Dylan sang to me. I shit you not. And I was like, why the fuck are we doing comedy?
I sang With Arms Wide Open by Creed.
It wasn't that. It was some other song. And while he's like singing it, I felt like a kid looking out the window of a car, just like driving down an old country road. I shit you not. I like had a whole experience with that. It was really dope. It was really dope.
Yeah, I'm practicing up for open mic night. And so I asked Mike for his honest opinion, and he basically just fell in love with me. So,
bro, like, yeah, he's like, I'm scared they're going to talk shit. I'm like, fuck you, man. He's like one of those skinny girls, fucking like a hot bitch who's just like, I'm just so fat. I'm like, oh, okay. The first time I went to an open mic for stand up, I went deaf and blind, and then just like paced around and gave none of my comedy. I didn't give it any kind of pause. There was no timing with it. I just said everything out there. There you go. And then I walked off stage.
That's how you do it.
I didn't regain my eyesight or like hearing until 30 minutes after. But then Dylan like sings this beautiful song with the voice of a fucking angel, and he's like, oh, I'm just real scared to go to open mic. Oh yeah, fuck you, buddy.
Well, it's different. Like, I mean, you could practice that open mic in front of the mirror, you could do it in front of a couple friends, and the pressure's not there. But then all of a sudden you're like with a microphone in front of your face. Like right now, if this was connected to some like speakers and stuff, we'd be like a little bit more nervous. And then you put an audience in front of it, you're gonna get even more nervous.
Oh, the air just came on. Think they're gonna hear it?
I don't know.
Try to turn it off. I'll serenade them.
It's already started.
It's not going to shut off before it started. It would have been fine, but
We might cut this part out, but if y'all can't hear it or it's not that bad, we might keep it in there. Gives like a behind the scenes feel. I don't cut shit out when we do the podcast, just because me and Dylan's pretty good at filling the whole time with speaking. So, how deep are we in the podcast right now? I feel like we should probably get into people come for the advice. Scientifically, I feel like our advice is on the lines of like a professional.
Yeah, I mean, if a professional had no training and was not
made every bad mistake you could possibly do. Well, I came from, parents who did drugs, very abusive household. It was rough. I was homeless. All right, I did drugs, and then I worked in a box shop for 12 hours, 7 days a week. Who better to give you advice? I've been through it all. There's like not much that I have ever been through. I've been through a lot of shit. So our advice is along the lines of any therapist you can go to.
Yeah, like, I mean, Dr. Phil.
Right, we're free.
Maury Povich.
Yeah, all the renowned doctors. Was it Montel Williams?
Yeah.
Jerry Springer.
Ricky Lake.
I don't even know who that is.
That's old school.
That predates me. People say Ricky Lake. I think the only time I've ever heard Ricky Lake's name really was Kangaroo Jack. Because they were like, he looks like Ricky Lake.
I don't know who Kangaroo Jack is.
Was Ricky Lake black?
No, she's a white chick.
Wow, shit. Bro, mind blown. I would have never fucking thought white chick. Like, that was crazy. That's like, bro, I thought Babe Ruth was black.
I dressed up as him as my first grade.
If you'd have told me that a couple months ago, I'd have been like, well, blackface is wrong. But like, oh, shit you not, man. Up until like 6 months ago, I thought Babe Ruth was black. I'm sorry. Like, when you fucking like, oh, he was like one of the best in the sport. I'm just like, black guy. Like, yeah. Like, I don't, listen, this is going to sound fucked up. But anytime someone talks about like a player from like the 1950s or 60s or something before black people could play, I don't count that shit. All right? Black people couldn't play. I also don't count the stats of black people when they were first introduced to the league. All right? That doesn't count either because they were playing against all white guys. I do count like the ESPN stats that like ESPN will be like, he's the first wide receiver to catch a right-handed pass on a Thursday after the quarterback's mother died.
Yeah.
I do count those stats, but only for white guys. Black guys, you got to get like the record. So
you got to actually do it.
Yeah, you got to actually. You can't hold an ESPN record. Like, you got to get an actual record. But for the white players, I'll give them the, they fucking scored 3 touchdowns on a Tuesday in Arizona when
I don't see how they keep up with that. Like, I do not get how they're like,
they just make it up. They're like, how can we make this sound cool? What they did sound cool.
First time they've done that, and blah blah blah.
I watched
3 months.
I watched a baseball highlight where the pitcher, like the guy hits it. I'm not a big baseball person. I love football, like the Carolina Panthers, and that's about it. But he hits the ball, and the pitcher catches the ball behind his back, like does this and catches the ball, and then just like fucking looks at everybody like, fuck yeah. Like, that's Sports Center #1. And I got hyped for that. And I was like, oh, fuck, baseball's probably exciting. And then I watched a baseball game. And I was just like, fuck.
I've been to a bunch for like the local like minor leagues, and everybody's like, how was the game? I was like, I don't know. I was talking shit and drinking beer. Like, I did not pay attention to a single inning of the game.
Well, I watched one when I went with my aunt and uncle to Virginia. I think it's Norfolk or Newport. One of those, all right. But they have a baseball team there. Like, and it's not like a pro team. It's like one of the
minor leagues.
Yeah, minor leagues. And it's near this Wachovia building. If someone knows who this is, fucking comment it down what team this is. But I remember sitting in their game, and my uncle was in the Navy, all right, which is pretty gay. But we always fucking cracked on him about that because my other uncle's in the Army, and they have their whole fucking things about that shit. But we're sitting there, and there's 2 other guys, and one guy, like, he saw war, like he was he's fucking like his arm was like fucked up, and he had PTSD, but he said he was like shell shock and shit like that, because I would kept like tapping on a glass, and one of his buddies just kind of leans up, and I'm like a little kid too, and I don't really fucking, like, I'm like 8 or 9 years old, and one of his buddies leans up, and he's like, hey man, I don't know if this is true to this day. They could have just been making this whole shit up now that I'm thinking about it, because they weren't with him. They were just fucking, like, they just said all this stuff. This could have just been like a disabled guy. I don't fucking know, but I believed him. But he just like leaned up and he was like, he could fucking like lose his shit and like kill you. I was like, yeah, man, I'll stop tapping this glass. Fucking sorry for being autistic. Fuck me, fuck. But fuck yeah, I remember that, man. I can't remember what team it was, nor anything that happened during the game, because it was the most boring fucking just moment of my life. And then there's a part of the game where they just stop playing, and then people just like fucking, they'll talk to each other and shit like that, and you're just like, I thought we were leaving. It's like sitting in church. Look, I get there's a lot of people who are religious and stuff like that. I grew up without a daddy, but I've always had a father. All right, that's as far as I'm going with my like takes on religion. But sitting in church, and you got a preacher, the guy that talks like this in that kind of cadence, really boring. It's hard. All right, it's hard, especially like when they're real slow and you get bored, and then you be like, he'll say, "All right, guys," and you're like, "Oh fuck yeah!" He's about to say, "Bow your head and close your eyes," and then he doesn't do it. And you're like, "Oh, false start." I went to a black church on Brentwood and High Point twice. Man, completely different.
Full of energy.
Fuck yeah, man. They were fucking like, they would take breaks to like sit there and talk and like welcome each other. And I was like, fucking, this is how you want to learn about God.
Yeah.
They're just so fun with it too. And I don't know what it is about black people, man, but all y'all can sing. Listen, goddamn, like all y'all just have great voices. This is Jesus Christ. Sports and singing. Fucking, I don't know. Someone will say that's racist, though. They'll be like, hey, you can't say that people, you can't say the good stereotypes about people because then a black person will be non-athletic and they won't be able to sing and that they'll feel bad about themselves. So they'll feel like me. Oh, okay, cool. All right. Hell yeah. Well, that's equality, baby.
Yeah.
That's equality. All right, guys. Well, we have 2 stories we're going to give you advice on tonight. Submitted on mikeanddylan.com, MikeandDylan.com. If you want us to give you some advice, read some of your most personal stories, and you've heard this whole podcast. Have me go over your life. Submit it at mikeanddylan.com.
And give a good amount of detail, but don't make them too long because it also makes it tough to read a 3-page long post.
Well, literally last episode, I was like, flesh it out. Don't just say, hey, my wife died, and then someone sent a book. And I was like, look, I can't make it through that. Also is a good time to announce that this podcast is sponsored by LaborLama. Well, fuck me. LaborLama, a clothing brand for hardworking men, started by me and Dylan. All right, comfortable quality clothing for the folks who work hard.
So I'm going to read the title, and then I'll hand it off to you, and you can read the story.
All right.
My sister-in-law won't stop correcting my parenting. I feel like this is pretty much a family gathering situation at most.
My sister-in-law won't stop correcting my parenting. Sister-in-law getting uppercut. I'm at my absolute breaking point with my husband's sister, Tiffany. That's another name that just... She has 2 perfect kids who are 12 and 14, while my son is only 3. Every single family gathering turns into a free parenting clinic that I never signed up for. Once again, uppercuts are effective. Francis Ngannou taught us that when he fought Alistair Overeem. I mean, he uppercutted that man's head into the stratosphere. I guarantee you to this day, Alistair Overeem hasn't said a bad word about that man. Last weekend at my father-in-law's birthday dinner, my son didn't want to eat his vegetables. Normal toddler stuff, right? Before I could even handle it, Tiffany swoops in. In our house, we have a 3-bite rule before saying we don't like something, then proceeds to take over, counting each bite like she's some kind of preschool drill sergeant. So I like Triple H's pedigree, all right, because he puts the arms behind your back, so you just face plant. And I think in that position where she's like leaned over on the table, you just do it right there on the table. What kind of shit is that also? Like as an adult, I could take a bite of something and be like, what the fuck? But I'm also fat, so I usually eat it. Like it has to be like... Ask Amy. If I don't eat something, she's like, oh, man, something's really wrong with that. Do I need to go be mean to the restaurant people? I'm just like, yes. Give me another biscuit, please. But 3 bites is a lot before saying you don't like something.
We have my daughter at least try everything. Like, that's part of it.
Right. That's like putting your mouth, chew it up.
Yeah.
And then also, like, if I know it's like something that's not like crazy, try to swallow it. Because especially Oliver, super smart kid, but like I said, spectrum boy. He'll eat something, he'll chew it up, I shit you not, and then he'll spit it out and he'll be like, ugh, and he'll go to walk away and he'll be like, can I try another bite of that? I'm just like, yeah. How about next time we just try to like swallow it and then be like, is that good or not?
Then make your decision, not spit it out first.
Oh yeah, but he's like, he's 9 now, so he's like transitioning into the I eat fucking everything phase. He used to be the pickiest eater. Nothing safe, especially. I'm gonna tell you this too. If you want your kid to try new food, you eat it. At a time they're not eating, I can't have shit in my house. I sit down with something, my fat ass is ready, boy. Here comes some kids. Oh, what you got? What you got? Didn't mom just take you out of Chick-fil-A? They're just like, yeah, but you have something now.
My dad used to get coffee-flavored ice cream because he says it tastes like chocolate pretty much. And so...
Just get chocolate.
But
it tastes like chocolate too.
But he'd get coffee so that we didn't want to eat it because we didn't want to eat coffee. So that was his play.
Yeah, my man, yeah. And then one day y'all tried it.
Yeah, and then it tastes like chocolate.
And then he lost his shit. Yeah. He could never have fucking coffee ice cream again. When he had a small tantrum about sharpening... Oh, shit. Once again, guys, I'm supposed to have glasses. When he had a small tantrum about sharing toys with his cousin, she literally said, this is why consistency is key. If you use the discipline techniques I showed you last Christmas, this wouldn't happen. This was the dinner table. This was at the dinner table in front of everybody. That's so weird to word. If you use the discipline techniques, like I told you, remember, arms straight, okay, and you want to push with your shoulder. Push with your shoulder, okay, and I guarantee you he'll share his fucking toys. Like, what kind of shit is that, man? Don't tell me how to raise my kids. Also, she sounds like Pinterest mom. All
She
right.
probably sounded like really like, oh, if you just use the discipline techniques, like she probably sounded like she was being very nice about it, but being super condescending in the same sentence.
Right here, I'm gonna tell you guys the only difference, because you see like Pinterest parents, okay, that do these crazy ass kids. You'll see a fucking dad tie his newborn baby around his back and go hiking with him, or a mom make this like 5-star meal for her kid, all this elaborate shit that she puts into her kid's lunch, and then it'll make you feel inadequate as a parent. Okay, the one thing that'll tell you if you're a good parent or not is if you're always conscious of if you're a good parent. Like if you're always like, man, if you always have that feeling like, man, I feel like I'm fucking up, I feel like I'm not doing good enough, that is the one sign that you are a good parent. Because good parents are bad parents are like this lady, the bitch that has it all figured out. Like I have everything figured out to a T. That's a show for in front of people. Like Pinterest moms and Pinterest dads, the reason they make that content is to prove to themselves. Regular parents don't need that shit. We don't give a, like, we know at the end of the day we're doing the best we can for our kids. And that's the thing about a parent too, is that you are imperfect. Like you are an imperfect person. There's no such thing as a perfect person. You are an imperfect person raising a human being. You are going to fuck up. You're going to do the wrong things. But at the end of the day, if you're like, man, how can I do better? Am I doing enough? And if you're conscious of that, that's what makes you a good parent. Sometimes I give some good advice, man. God bless America. Fucking, where's Dr. Phil at? Come on. What was he on, ABC or something like that?
No clue.
Fucking give me a deal. Give me a deal. I'll yell at fucking exploited youth. Exploited youth. Be like, oh, well, you fucking, once again, like last episode, you know, I don't give a fuck. I slap my mom. She can't tell me what to do. And then they come on the thing, on the show, and they'll be like, well, my dad walked out when I was a kid. I was like, bitch, I had 2 dads walk out. They don't even know about that. They don't even know about the second dad. That's for another episode. I'll tell you about the second dad that walked out. But I had 2 dads walk out on me, bitch. And then I punch them. Just because, you know, fucking, you know, life. I'm literally starting to dread family gatherings. Last night I lied about our son having a cold just to skip Sunday dinner. My husband went alone and came back saying, My husband went alone and came back saying Tiffany asked if I was avoiding her. She's not wrong, but now, or asked if I was avoiding her. She's not wrong, but now I look like the bad guy. Do I just keep avoiding her, confront her directly, make my husband finally stand up to his sister? What would you do? All right, look, this one's really easy. Because here's one thing, okay? My family is my blood. There is a certain, I don't know, what do you call it? There is a certain obligation that you have to family, which I will tell you right now, is nothing. All right. When they say, you know, blood is thicker than water, fuck all that shit. Shit's thicker than blood. That doesn't mean shit, you know? But once again, you guys are my family. I grew up with y'all, and then, you know, we've shared a lot of life experiences together, and I still half-ass like y'all. That woman, my wife, I like her for her. I like her because, you know, she's my partner and we're fucking together. So the first instant that, you know, sister-in-law is talking shit to my wife, I'm taking brother out back and be like, listen, you gonna tell your woman to shut the fuck up, or I'm gonna fucking shut you up. Because that's my girl. Like I said, that's my brother is my blood. I have to like him for some reason. I don't know. Once again, I don't believe in all that blood is thicker than water bullshit. Fuck all that. I like my wife because I like my wife. That's why I told you, man, I value our friendship. Like friendships, I value those more because this is somebody, Dylan's somebody I ain't got to fucking like. Like there's no obligation for us to be friends, for us to talk about shit, for us to like, you know, sit down and laugh at something or fucking, you know, spend, you know, all day working and we're fucking goofing off and having fun and stuff like that. There's no obligation. There's nothing that, you know, we owe each other nothing. There's no ties that we have. I value those more. Like with you, with Mitchell, with all my other friends, I value those more than with my family. Also my family shit. So I don't know really like what good family looks like. Maybe I'd be a more, I mean, we can run a poll on that too. You know, the blood thicker than water thing. And feedback is great. Because Spotify said feedback is great. So if you want to leave some feedback, that'd be nice. But yeah, fuck that shit. That's my wife. The husband should have been on her side immedighty.
Well, I think ultimately though, it's in those scenarios you tell the bitch to back off. Like, and you say it just in the same like condescending way.
I
like,
get fighty real fast.
Well,
so it would have ended. It would have just. So I could talk to my brother, or I could just yell at her and then beat up my brother.
Well, yeah, it's two wives. So like, I mean, it's sister-in-law. Like, I'm just saying she should have called that out in the moment and said like, "Hey guys, like I see you raised your kids. We're raising our kid a different way. Like every household's different. You know, you keep your like I appreciate your advice, but I'm handling this." And like push her out of the way and tell her to get the fuck away from your kid, because
Right.
ultimately that's where I've come down is like if somebody starts messing with my kid, like I'm stepping in to be like, "Whoa, no, not your place. Like I'm the parent here." Like and we've done that with my parents, and my parents are the greatest grandparents in the world. But in the instances where they're doing something that they did to raise me because they thought that it was right, and like you said, they're trying to do the best they can. They're fallible, but we're just doing it different. And so
Fallible. We sound fucking legit right now.
but so we like I mean and that's the thing is like the way that I handle it, you know, the way that I talk, I just, you know, correct it in the moment, like, "Hey guys, like I know you're trying to do the right thing, but this is kind of the direction we're going." And she needs to do that and just like tell the bitch to back off, not with, you know, fighting,
Right.
but like just be like, "Hey, hold up, get out of my space."
Right. I mean, but sometimes people are non-confrontational.
Yeah. But that's how you like diffuse the situation, and like you can go ahead and handle it your way if it doesn't work.
But also
like,
too, like if that's her family, then she feels more comfortable stepping in. And
Yeah.
as a husband, that's his family.
well, the thing is though, it's her kid. Like that's my drawing line is like what you
Right.
said. Like you picked your wife and then you had kids. Like that's my family down that tree. Like
Right.
do not step in my space, otherwise then we will have problems. And so she could call out the sister-in-law, and then if the sister-in-law decides to get mouthy, then you take the brother-in-law out, because ultimately that's his sister, so that make him his brother-in-law. So you take him
Wait,
out.
no, that's his brother.
No,
Or
it's
is
his
that her
sister.
brother?
It's
I'm
his
fucked
sister.
up. I'm fucked up on how.
According to the story, like Tiffany and her husband are brother and sister.
Yeah, that's what I meant. That's like his sister talking shit. Which I mean, if that's her family, you would feel more comfortable with that.
Yeah.
I get. But, you know, like if it was someone from her family talking shit, she would feel more apt to, hey, correct her family. Yeah. And then like if it was the husband's family, he should have already stepped up and fucking said, hey, shut the fuck up. Like, what are you doing?
I don't give a fuck. It could be the damn Pope, and I'll call that motherfucker out.
I don't have to worry about that, because if someone was just like, remember what I taught you about discipline? Like, once again, my wife knows the effectiveness of an uppercut. She's hit me with one of those before. Okay, she got Mike. She got Mike when he was 20 years old. And I already told you how I was in my youth, so you guys know. She was like, fucking, that woman literally saved my life. So understand that Mike has not like lived a relationship where he's not got punched in the face. If people will see, like, you've seen Amy, you could tell that's especially how she talks to me too. That's a woman who has punched me in the face before.
You probably needed it.
Oh, absolutely. Like I said, she fucking saved me, man, because we got together. Me and Amy got together. Fucking the luckiest thing that could ever happen. She got pregnant within a month and a half of us meeting each other. Which, she just got out of a relationship. I kind of just got out of a relationship. I was still in one, but how those things work. You're fucking young and shit like that. And then she got pregnant, and then it come to find out Mike's like this terrible person. I wouldn't say terrible person. I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I had zero guidance in my life. I had no good role models. But she's like, because the drug thing she really didn't fucking like. So I remember one night she was like, I'm not having my child raised by a drug addict. Mm-hmm. And she just just walked away. I was like, look, and I like cried and shit like that. And it was like a long process, man.
Yeah.
But eventually I started making podcasts with my boy Dylan and reading drama on the internet. Fucking success story.
We'll have the autobiography film out in a couple years.
Right. Just be like, come on, just give us at least like $400 for it, man. Just like something. Just give us something for it. All right.
So on to the next one. So I'm gonna read the title.
I'm gonna grab some water real quick, guys.
All right, let's go ahead and put it on pause then.
Oh man, we're back with our water.
Oh look, my water's
yeah, I don't know how joy. It's just like, what happened? It's like the one podcast I saw where they're just talking, and then one guy like magically has a piece of pizza up here in his hand. It's like no continuity. Or like I said, these I try to cut the least amount off as possible. I do want you guys to enjoy and have fun with us and everything like that, but also too, we're talking like this is. And if we were talking in a bar, this is the same mic you would get. You'd be like, God, this guy don't shut the fuck up. All right, so we're ready to get into the next and final story.
Yep. We only had two today.
I'm so nervous about the send-off also.
This one, This one's a fun one. My cousin had a sugar daddy.
All right. Sugar daddy. So when I said I was experienced, I'm not that experienced. Like, I can't tell you about the. All right. 37 male here. So as the title states, my cousin has a sugar daddy and has had one for the last 15 years. She was an exotic dancer and he was a lonely old retired man. That's how it works.
Yeah, it's pretty much the two combos that make up a.
That's the right combination right there. Yeah, it's never like, I was I used to garden and then I saw this strapping young man that was like, no relation, just sex.
Just want to support you.
Right. I guess, have you seen 50 Shades of Grey?
Yeah.
I've not. Isn't that kind of like how it is?
Yeah, he's like a rich young guy that basically has women as toys. Like it's a real fucked up like story. He's got his own reasons.
We should do a 50 Shades of Grey episode where I fucking like, we had the Audible would take too long. We just watch the movie.
Yeah.
Watch the movie and I have to like process it live.
Yeah.
That'd be crazy.
Well, it's 3 movies, so.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Just fucking fit it in all to one movie.
No, because it's a trilogy of books. Or I think it might even be more. I don't know.
Well,
it's like Harry Potter.
Well, that works sometimes, but you know how they took The Hobbit and they made that into multiple movies?
Didn't need to.
Right. These tangents are great. All right. Over this time, he has given her close to $1 million. God damn. I suck a dick.
Well, if you keep reading.
Listen, Diddy, they took away our own. You guys shit on Diddy. That was as kids, we'd always be like, would you suck a dick for $1 million? That was the one motherfucker fulfilling those. We only had one guy fulfilling that shit, and y'all took him away. So now I don't know. If push come to shove, if I was sucking a dick for $1 million. God.
No more offers on the table.
Right. And she lived every bit of the fast life you could imagine someone lives when they don't earn the money that they're spending. Now, when I say earned, I mean that she claims she has never had sex with him, and he only had an interest in helping.
Yeah. He's just a philanthropist.
I think he might be a special man that has money.
He's a philanthropist. He's just trying to help out the youth.
What is philanthropist?
The people that give money to like.
I thought that was a dick joke for a while when I was a kid.
No.
And I forgot what it was stated the first time I heard philanthropist. And I think it was, I don't fucking know.
That's how people get their names on buildings.
The Iron Man movie, I think, was the first time I heard it. But like, I guess like Robert Downey Jr. had made like a dick joke somewhere in there. And I've always associated, well, I didn't say always, for like 3 years. 2008, I was 16, so don't fucking blame me on this. But, I thought philanthropist was like a dick joke.
$1 million.
People listening to this, they're like, this is the guy that I like on fucking, this is the guy I watch. Yep. Jesus Christ. Which I just find hard to believe because men don't just help a young, attractive woman out of the goodness of their heart. Apologize for the hard cut, guys. Dylan forgot to charge the camera. Just kidding. One of the cameras went out. And I like to blame it on Dylan, but Dylan works so hard. Dylan was like, my bad. And I was like, it's not your bad, bro. Like, we have 167 things on our plate at all times. And Dylan has 9 times more of that. 9 times more of that. So,
well, and it is Easter Sunday evening that we're reading this.
Right. Yeah. So it's just something that was an overlook, an oversight, and it's something that we learned from. Yep. But yeah, your guys are going to get a hard cut because I don't think there's a way. I edit these, so fucking I am not like splicing these together beautifully where it just seamlessly transitions. You are getting a very hard cut.
And I think by all technicalities, we can cut that out too.
What?
Like you could just start with Easter today because it'll cut just fine. We don't have to tell them that we cut.
I think
we can tell them, but yeah. we don't have to tell them.
I think it's more like they're fucking here with it. You know what I'm saying? Like. I like to like.
We're gonna do a poll. Do you guys want us to tell
you? Like us? Like the Spotify wants us to. Spotify says all this stuff. They're giving us all these tips. They're like, hey guys, if you want people to view your shit, you got to do polls, man. You got to do polls, and you got to tell them to leave reviews and then comments and tell them what you did wrong. And I'm like, can I just like we can just talk?
We can just put a podcast.
Yeah, we're just gonna put a podcast up, and if you watch it, you watch it. If not, fuck, I'm sorry. Sorry you don't love me. It's Easter today. Oh, this was sent today?
It was sent today.
This was sent today. All right. It's Easter today, and she's asking her parents if they can provide an Easter basket for her kids because she doesn't have any money.
$1 million?
She just sucked a dick for $1 million.
Can't even get an Easter basket.
Oh man, what is something happened? Baby daddy's gone or something. Sugar daddy. It says
daddy.
baby daddy right here.
Does it say baby?
It says meanwhile her baby daddy. I guess he meant to put sugar daddy.
Oh, must be, yeah.
Meanwhile, her sugar daddy has 50K watches and lives comfortably in a luxurious neighborhood. That's because he's a sugar daddy and he is not obligated to take care of her kids. Like it's a contractual agreement, all right? That's what a sugar daddy is, but then a stripper. It's a contractual agreement that says, I give you money, you play with my balls, all right? And your kids, I don't give a fuck about, but you fucking $1 million. She ain't got $1 million no more.
She might have gotten fired from her sugar daddy position or sugar baby position.
Yeah, it's like with Leonardo DiCaprio, you know, as soon as they turn 19, that's it.
Nope.
Gone. Get out of here. Get out of here. That is a problem. that is a problem that America needs to address. I'm waiting for the documentary, allegedly. Fuck, I might get sued for that. I might have to take that out. I don't know. I'm going to Google it. I'm going to Google. Will I get sued if I make a joke about Leonardo DiCaprio? And it's like, yes, him and Tom Cruise. They'll go after you. I was blown away when I heard that and can't help but to wonder where all the money is going. The big brother in me wants to cut her in with tough love, but she is not the type to receive that kind of treatment well. She wouldn't just receive just love well either because she's riddled with trauma and has too much pain to receive positive emotions from anybody. Ain't we all? Her mom smoked crack most of her life, and her dad wasn't in the picture. Fucking tell me a story.
She's like,
tell me a unique story, brother. Jesus, ain't we all there?
She's like your twin.
Right, yeah.
Well, except for you had a stepdad that was also a crackhead.
I know she's had a hard life, but it seems like she's only adding fuel to the fire that's been burning endlessly since she was young. What's a man to do from a distance? That's a lot to take in. So she got a sugar daddy. Played with the balls, got the $1 million, spent $1 million. Tough love's the only route to go at all. The only thing you could do is tough love when you got somebody in that position. Listen, it's unfortunate that you have had a traumatic life, okay? If someone's listening and they've had a traumatic life, I feel for you. I would say that most people that, listen to this, they've had traumatic parts of their childhood. Like I said, people can grow up, wealthy. They can grow up wealthy. There's no class. There's not like a middle class or an upper class where it's like, oh, once you get to this class, well, you stop getting molested. Everybody's had fucking trauma in their lives, okay? But once you have kids, you can't then give that trauma. You can't use that trauma as an excuse.
Well, you got to try and break the cycle at some point.
Right, absolutely. That's how I view it, man. That's how I view it. Like, I had a bunch of shitty shit done to me by a bunch of shitty people. But guess what? If I don't pass that on to my children, that shit dies with me. All that shit that they did, their whole thing, their whole being dies when I die. But when you carry that trauma onto your children, then you're taking the shit that you dealt with as a kid and it just continues forever. And that's something growing up, I was like, bro, my kids ain't going to know half the shit that, my daughter found out I went to jail. Oh my God. She was like, you were in jail? You? I watched you cry during Click, Dad. You went to jail? I was like, yeah.
Come on, that Click is like the movie to cry at.
Bro, what the fuck? Like, Adam Sandler's just like, you know what? I guess it's because I go into like the boy in the striped pajamas and stuff like that. Stuff that people are like, it's going to make you cry. So I'm just like, okay, so it's going to be sad. Click. Look, I'm going to cry when I talk about it. When he's sitting there with his dad and the dad's trying to show him the magic trick and he's just like apologizing because he fucking remoted his life away.
Well, the craziest thing was when I watched that, I was actually working in architecture at the time. Like, I was legitimately, like, that was my path and trajectory, and I was just like, no, I don't want to do this.
You could have remoted it all the way to Bed Bath & Beyond, buddy.
Yeah.
Didn't even know it. He was so close to just giving it away and fucking just fast-forwarding his whole life. Well, I think that this is a good stopping point for this episode.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? Yeah, with this guy, you can't carry on the trauma, all right? You got to do the tough love. Tough love is the only thing that's going to work, especially when someone's reckless and irresponsible. So the exact same thing that Amy did with me. She saw that I did drugs. She was like, my kids ain't going to be, raised by a drug addict. And she was like, if you want to have any part of your child's life, you're going to stop doing drugs. And what's funny is people are going to hear that, and they're going to be like, oh, what a bitch. That your wife sounds like a bitch, when actually she's a really responsible person. But I guarantee you that person works at a tree service.
I'll turn that around.
Yeah. My brain is like a supercomputer. So, But yeah, I guess this is a good stopping point. Like I said, guys, leave us a little review. Spotify.
Fill out the poll.
Fill out the poll. Fill out the poll that we have. Someone's gonna watch this. There's no fucking poll, Mike.
Oh, we'll put one up. We'll be like, which color do you like, blue or red? Well, no, that's probably a
Right, because
testy,
it's Easter Sunday. This will be up tomorrow morning, which means Mike fucking
no sleep.
no sleep, just up there, just like, oh God, I just keep rambling. Why would I say that about my life? It's so embarrassing. I just fucking get through it in a hot sweat. Y'all can see I glisten when I do these. I'm a rather large guy.
Yeah, but you're like the get home and get into a pair of basketball shorts, and that's pretty much all you're wearing around the house.
I wear the same pants for so many days, brother. It's an unhealthy amount of days. Like my wife, bless her heart, man. She sees me and she's like, there is something like diagnosable with that boy. And
she loves you for it.
She does love me for it. But I mean, guys, look, let us know too if you enjoy the rambling, or if you just want like us to get into the advice,
Just
because
stories,
right, because our advice is top of the line. I mean, what was the word you said earlier?
I said fallible.
Fallible, bro. Right.
But no, it's infallible.
Infallible. He'd make the word bigger. How can you not say that our advice is anything but premium when we're using words like inflammable, infallible, bro, infallible. I'm gonna use infallible 6 times tomorrow, and not even in the correct way.
No, probably not.
You know what would not be infallible? You not tuning in for the next episode. I don't know how any of these intros go. Once again, Spotify says that we should do a unique intro and a unique outro.
We'll have a poll for that.
Right. So you can just be like, well, we should get one of those little soundboards. It's just like dicks, penis, cock.
Mm-hmm.
Michael sounds gay a lot of the time, but he's not really. Like, he wouldn't really, he wouldn't really go to a Diddy party for $15 million. $15 million. And y'all took him away. Took away
the opportunity.
What the fuck? And y'all view that. Y'all like, oh, great. We got that nasty
Predator
guy off the streets. But really, that was a win for the government, okay? That was a win for the U.S. government. Because the U.S. government was like, these young men can't have an easy way to get $15 million. We're going to take that away. Sad. We'll see you next time, guys.
Later.
Later. That was a good later. Maybe I should have said like, well, I should have went up to him, later, potato.
I was using the old, what was it? Dazed and Confused. Catch you later.
Is that the porn movie?
No, that is definitely
What's the one with Mark Wahlberg and he has the big penis?
Something Nights.
Boogie Nights.
Boogie Nights.
Yeah, there you go. I watched Boogie Nights. You told me to watch Boogie Nights, and I watched it.
I didn't tell you to watch Boogie Nights.
What did you tell me to watch?
I don't know. There's been a couple, and you refused to watch them.
You tell me to get fucking Jesus Christ. Oh, and we're still recording too. I'm gonna leave this in here. You tell me to watch a movie so much, I'm gonna go home and watch that. And I get back, I'm like, I just watched The Office for the 35,000th time in a row, brother. God bless him.